What's going on, guys? Chris here again. And it's Wednesday, so you know what that means. I've brought you another review of a game. Game I picked for today is a classic. It's on the Sega series, and it's called Gunstar Heroes. Now, this is an amazing game for a bunch of reasons. First of all, it's a running gun. I love running guns. I love classic running guns. I love the new school running guns. If it's a running gun, a shooter, I'm there. I love it to a T. That is my cup of noodles. That is my shit right there, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And I also like the fact that it's a old school game. Like it's from the Sega guys, and I mean that's the stuff I grew up with, like Sonic, and VR Troopers and Power Rangers. And then I didn't hear about it till later, but Gunstar Heroes was also there, much to my misfortune. Okay, so basically a couple things about this game. It's a Treasure game. I don't know if you ever heard of the company Treasure, but they make a lot of good games. Actually, they make a lot of good shooters. A buddy of mine is a really big fan of Treasure games, and he's a collector of them. Shout out to Scott's Nest if you're watching this. He actually collects Treasure games, and he kind of turned me on to the Gunstar series as well. And for that, I give him credit where credit is due. But also they make a lot of great games. They make the Wario games. They make, Sin and Punishment. They make Ikaruga. Pardon me if I'm mispronouncing it for all the diehards out there. And of course they make Gunstar. Gunstar was one of the first games they actually ever released, I believe. And I mean, that's according to the Wikipedia page, so don't quote me on that. But actually, to be as an old game as it is, because it was made in '93. I mean, I was made in '91, so, it's pretty old. But to be as old as it is, it looks good. It looks really great. The background, the soundtrack, the, fighting dynamics, the controls, everything is phenomenal. And to me, like, it is just amazing to see how well it holds up by, like, today's gaming standards and what we deem is good today. It's kind of just interesting to see how well it holds up with its playability and its replayability and its, co-op playability and everything. Because ultimately, as it is with most shooters, ultimately it's really all about the co-op play. Like, I did enjoy the single player campaign, but really when you get together with a couple buddies, that's when it really is fun. That's when this game is either going to piss you off or you're going to love it. Depending on what setting you're playing on, if you're playing on hard, it's probably going to piss you off more often than not. So a couple things I like about this game. First of all, I thought it was really interesting, and I don't really know why they did this, and I have no understanding, as I didn't do any research or anything. I just know that when I saw it, I thought, haha, that's funny. So a couple of things I thought was funny is the fact that most of the enemies, actually even the damsel in distress in this game, maybe even the main characters, they're all named after colors, guys. I'm talking like the damsel in distress, her name's Yellow. One of the bosses you fight is green. Another boss you fight is black. The big wrestler fat guy boss, the one who farts all over you, yeah, that's orange. I don't know why. I don't know why. Nobody really knows why. Does it really matter? It doesn't matter because it's amazing. That's why. So, the main character, I didn't catch his name. Maybe he's blue, so maybe, like, he's colored blue, so maybe his name's blue. Who knows? Anyway, the controls for the main character are really amazing. He has a lot of things he can do. Kind of like going back to my previous shooter video that I did on Alien Hominid. It was also a really versatile character, and the controls really well. He can, he can slide tackle enemies, he can throw enemies, he can throw the bombs that the enemies throw at him right back at them and blow them up in their face. He can, damn, there's so many things he can do. He can, like, jump tackle. He can jump off the walls. Like, off the walls? That doesn't even make sense. There's nothing there because we just rolled up, like, into the area we're at, and we know what's back there, and there's no wall there, and he's jumping off of it like it's a wall there. I don't understand it, but the physics isn't there, but the fact that he can do it is amazing. I don't know how he's doing it, but it's amazing. And, let's see, a couple more things that he can do. Apparently he can guard. I don't really know this for sure. I just heard it from a friend recently, but I never figured it out. I played through the entire game a couple days ago, and I never really figured out how to guard. I don't really think you need to be able to guard. But I guess if you can figure it out, more power to you. Shoot me a comment below and let me know how you do it, because hell, I'd love to know. Let's see. Also, there's a really, as with many like running guns or shooters in the past and still today, they have a really great selection of weapons. Now, in this game, there's only 4 real weapons. You have a straight blaster, some kind of yellow homing gun. It looks like it's shooting like potato chips at somebody, and I don't really know why that's the way it is, but that's just how it is. And you have a laser beam kind of gun, kind of Contra-esque, Alien Hominid-esque, really just any old school game. They always put lasers in there for some reason. I guess lasers are cool, I don't know. And then the flamethrower. Lo and behold, the flamethrower. Now, there's not a lot that I can say about all the guns because there's only 4, but they are good. They're all good in their own respective little areas. Like, obviously the flamethrower is good for close combat, and it sucks for anything else. So if you get the flamethrower, you might want to trade up and get a new weapon immediately, because it's just not very useful for most fights. They did add another dynamic to the weapons menu, I guess, or weapons scheme, whatever you want to call it. And the fact is that made it kind of like more 3-dimensional is they kind of incorporated where you could have 2 weapons at the same time. And what this means is, you can have the homing gun or the laser, or the homing gun, the flamethrower. And why this is awesome is because when you actually have 2 weapons at the same time, it doesn't just say, hey, you can use this weapon or this weapon. It just fuses the things together, and you get to use both of them. Yeah. So basically, you get to, like, if you have the laser and the homing missile, you basically get a little homing laser that just homes in on the guys, and like as they walk on the screen, it just pew, 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 annihilates, snipes them off before they really even get a chance to shoot at you. So by far, if you are having trouble with this game, which, if you're playing it on the higher difficulty settings, I could see it is a challenging game. A lot of old school shooters are challenging. But if you're having trouble, I would just say pick up the laser, pick up the homing gun, guys. Once you get those 2, it is just ridiculous how you just plow through everybody. You plow through all the levels, basically, if you have that gun. And, I mean, there are instances where you would want other guns, like close range combat, like I said, you'd want the flamethrower. But for the most part, the homing laser is going to be your go-to for every single battle, every single boss fight, every single level. It's just, you got it, keep it, hold on to it. It's very useful, and, it won't let you down usually unless it's homing in on a box. I don't understand why, when there's guys running all around. This is one of my beefs with the game, that somehow it homes in on boxes and inanimate objects instead of the people trying to kill you. Yeah, the homing laser, sometimes it can be a little hoe and just home in on the wrong stuff. I mean, you can combat this by just letting go of the firing button and then pressing it down again, because you just basically hold it down and run through the level. Now, like I said, the only trouble you have is when it runs into like where it actually homes in on the wrong thing. But you can fix that by letting it go, so that's not really that big of a beef. But like I said, being able to use the weapons in tandem and at the same time is a very big deal to me. It just added a whole nother layer to it, and it, like, for such an old game, it has so much depth, guys. It has so much depth, and then the main character is really versatile, and it just, the things he can do, and, it's a shooter. I don't really even know what more to say. It's just an amazing game. You have to play this game. If you do not have this game, get this game. And if you're not a retro fan, this game will probably turn you into a retro fan. Like, if you like Sin and Punishment on the Wii or Ikaruga on the GameCube, you will love this game. I'm not going to lie to you. This game is an amazing game, and it's worthy of your time and playthrough for sure. And plus it gave me a reason to dig out my Sega. I haven't played the Sega in years, and hell, here I was the other day just playing the Sega just because I had Gunstar, and it was a great reason to play it. So you get the nostalgia factor and everything all at once, so it's totally worth your time. Now, another thing I liked about this game, another thing I thought was really great, is the fact that you get hit points. You get hit points! It is phenomenal. Guys, you do not know how many times I would be playing Contra or, Sonic even, if we're keeping it Sega. I guess Contra's not Sega. Oh, Contra Hardcores. But if we're keeping it Sega, then, you know, all the games where you just get hit once and you die, yeah, what kind of shit is that? What kind of crap is that? Especially in shooter games where you know there's just going to be, you know, bullets flying everywhere. Everything's coming at you from 20 different angles. How are you supposed to dodge that anyway? Exactly. Nobody knows. So basically, I just love the fact that they give you hit points. It makes the game that much more like ease of play, and it makes it that much more like where you can come back to it because you're not totally frustrated because you get to a certain point where there's like 18 guys and they just all hoe you at one time. Now, you know, because this is just like any other shooter game. Like there are some cheap like instances when they're gonna like throw you across the room and you didn't even see them there. So, you know, I guess the hit points is there to combat the cheapness of the game in certain instances. So I do like that, the fact that there are hit points. That is amazing to me, and you know, it's something that makes me still want to play the game even more. Now, on the flip side, you know, if it was a game that didn't have hit points, it would just be one of those games where you just had to memorize where every single bullet was coming from at every single time. And, you know, I've definitely done so in Contra. I've played it so many times that, you know, I know who's coming from where and what they're doing when they get on screen, whether they're firing high or low. It's just, I guess, taking away the fact that I didn't die in one hit made it where I didn't have to memorize every single character on screen, every single bad guy and what they were doing. And that, you know, freed up a lot more of my attention to just enjoy the game. Because overall, it is a very enjoyable game. And, you know, it's a fun playthrough. It's really quick. You know, it's like 2 hours. Actually, it's way less than 2 hours if you know what you're doing. But it's really quick. And it's a really fun playthrough. Has a lot of replayability. Now I'm going to get to the best part about this game. And that is just, this is probably just the key of all shooters in general. And that is the two-player co-op. Two-player co-op. I cannot stress this enough. How many times me and my buddy would just be sitting on the couch at our old place and playing, you know, shooters. Gunstar, even. He's the one who turned me on to this game, and, you know, we would just be sitting there for hours. And I mean hours on end just playing this game. And that's why I decided to do a video on this game, because it does deserve some attention, and I don't think it gets enough. But, you know, we would get, you know, we'd beat it. I think we even beat it on hard eventually, so it's not like we're terrible, because we definitely did, you know, dedicate some time to it, but it was because it was on the harder settings. So understand that, you know, if you are going to play on the harder settings, you're probably going to want a second player to co-op with. And plus, it's just badass because when you are the second player co-op, you can actually, you know, even though it's kind of not good, you can throw your own teammate. Yeah, you can throw your teammate into his own death in just a field of enemies if you want. So it's like, it's not like Battletoads where you can beat the crap out of one another, but you can totally just screw your partner over if you really want to. Or if you want, you can just work together and be a badass team. Usually we went with the teamwork aspect until he started throwing me or I started throwing him. And then it just turned into a big throw war, which was still fun. So it has a lot of aspects that are, you know, fun. And as I said before, it has a lot of replayability. I played this game probably 3-4 times, like start to finish. And I would probably still play it again. Like, if I got some buddies together that wanted to play this game, I would definitely do it. And it's just because it has a really good soundtrack, it looks good, it feels good, the controls are good. It's just, there are so many good things about this game. That's what keeps me coming back. That's what makes me want to replay this game. The fact that it is just continually good. Like, I can look at games today, like games that were made, you know, 2-3 years ago, that aren't as good as this game. You know, it's just tragic that this is lost to the annals of time because, you know, we develop new stuff. But yeah, it definitely has a lot of replayability, and it's something you should visit. Now, I'm going to get into a couple things I didn't like, and I'm just being super nitpicky here because, you know, I spent, you know, 15 minutes preaching about how it was a good game, so I'm not going to blow it down too much. But there are a few things. Probably the first thing, and the biggest deal to me, it's just like on Alien Hominid, the video I did a couple weeks ago. On the second level, they put like one of the hardest bosses in the game. Yeah, what the crap is that? They did the same thing in Gunstar, people. It was this like transforming boss, and he has like 8 different things he transforms into. One looks like a giant pinwheel, another looks like a giant sperm. You know, there's a freaking pistol, there's a little cougar running around at the bottom of the screen, and then there's like some golem at the very beginning where he's like throwing boomerangs at you. What the crap is that, guys? This is the second level. The second level! Not only that, it's not a level where you get to run around. You're like driving this minecart, which is kind of difficult to maneuver once you just barely got adjusted to the controls of the game from the first level. It's just like, I could see how, if this was an arcade game, I don't know if it ever was, but I could see if it was, that the second level would piss a lot of people off and cost a lot of people a lot of quarters. Because it was just tragic how insanely difficult this second boss was, especially on the harder settings. Like, because then you have to go through every single one of his phases, and there's like 10, and they all suck. They all suck in different ways. So it's not like any of them are better than the others. I mean, probably there are a few that are cheaper than most. The sperm is definitely one of the cheapest ones. I don't know why, but he just sits on top of you. And that's another thing about this game, that there is no like recovery time. Like most games, if you get hit, you know, you'll flash the character will flash like it'll be opaque, I guess, for a minute, and then like while they're, you know, flashing, they can't be hit. No. In Gunstar, when you get hit, you don't flash. If you get hit and you're standing in a string of bullets, you're just gonna get hit by every single bullet. All of them hitting you right in the head, and it's just because you're just standing in the wrong place. And, you know, the minecart level is insanely difficult, mostly for the fact that when you're jumping across, like, the roof or the bottom of the mine shaft, yeah, I don't know why, but you can drive on the roof of the mine shaft. Who the hell said that was okay? The physics in this game is all off, but it's still an amazing game. And it's just somehow jumping between the sides or the roof and the bottom is sometimes challenging, and it makes the boss, which is already difficult, a lot more difficult, and it's not really necessary. It's just, I hate to see when games do that, like the second level in the game, when there's, you know, it's really freaking challenging for no reason. Like, I understand, but I just somehow don't understand. Okay, so another thing I didn't really like is Black's dungeon. And Black is like the final boss, or I guess, not really the final boss, but he's the boss you have to fight to get the final gem. And basically, his dungeon is a big-ass board game. It looks like a freaking Monopoly board or the Life board. And the only reason I hate this is because I played it, and when I started it, you know, I had 200 life or what, 200 hit points or whatever. By the time I got through to the final boss, I had like 40-something maybe. I mean, the final boss, like, Black only hit me like once, so it didn't really matter, because he's terribly easy. It's just getting through all the other crap bosses and actually getting to fight him. That's what's the freaking pain in the ass, guys. And then every single time I would throw the dice, it would be a 1, a 1, a 1, a 1. And then, oh, when the item room was next, it would be a 2 or a 3. Oh, I see you cheating, game. No, it's cheap as hell on that. But that's just, you know, I guess that's just how it goes, I guess. You can't expect it to be too fair, I guess. I mean, they want to put up a challenge, too. But that is one of my bigger beefs with this game, that the dice thing is just terribly skewed, terribly unjust. I do not feel like every single toss should be a 1. That's a lie. And another beef I have with this game is it's really short. I mean, that's really being nitpicky, but it is very short, and you know, that's why I have to revisit it all constantly, because it was super short. So, and then lastly, the only thing I want to say is probably my biggest beef of the day, bigger than the second level boss, is the fact that this game came out in 1993 and on the Sega that I grew up with, and I had to wait till I was a grown man to play this game. If I would have got to play this game as a kid, I would have freaking lost my mind. I think it's good as an adult. As a kid, I would have never left the house. I'd have been glued to the screen. Like, I got games like Power Rangers and Sonic. I mean, they're good and all, but seriously, Mom and Dad, what the hell? Why couldn't I get Gunstar Heroes, huh? I mean, it was simple. It would have been an amazing gift. I mean, I still love you guys, but I would have loved you even more. So I'm said my piece about that. Alright guys, well, that's really all I got for this game. You know, like I said, it's a great game, phenomenal game. 2 thumbs way up for this game. Play this game. If you don't have it, get it. I suggest you get it. It is a phenomenal game. You will not be disappointed. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, post them below in the comment section. If you have any games or shout outs to anything you want me to do or would like to see me do, then, you know, post it and I'll get right on it. Alright guys, until next time, keep gaming and keep exploring.